ったぜ万丈め。いや、俺の名は1、10、100、1000万丈め。
Hello everyone, Necromancer for Kids here, this time bringing you a deck profile of Chazz Princeton, aka The Chazz, aka Manjoume Thunder in Go format, in honor of his Japanese voice actor Taiki Matsuno, who unfortunately passed away on June 26, 2024 at the age of 56. While I am personally fond of the English dub, I know that many GX fans have adored Jun Manjoume as much, if not more, than we have appreciated the one, the only, the Chazz. The rules I use to build this deck are basically the same as my Bakura deck profile, which I will link in the description for you to check out. But basically, I have a max of 2 of each of the cards, which Chazz used at some point in the series, along with some staples from Go format. It's debatable whether or not Sinister Serpent counts as a staple, and it would be really good in this deck, but I think it's a lot more of a staple during the early revival of Go format, and not so much now in the game, so I didn't include it. If you build this kind of deck for yourself, you're of course free to include it if you choose, or to completely ignore the restrictions that I used for myself. Something I also chose not to include in this deck is Gyakugire Panda and Royal Magical Library. And the reason for that is, while he did use them in the anime,
so come on out, Gyakugire Panda! Look at the big teddy bear!
They only had a single appearance each, and it would take away a lot of the fun and strategy of this deck to use them, essentially turning it into a Panda plus Ojama Trio beatdown deck. So I opted to stick more strictly to the Thunder Dragon theme. Something else you could do, of course, is go into more of a fusion theme, because he does have Dark Blade that he used, and he also used Pitch Dark Dragon, and he used the Ojamas, so you can make some fusions, but I decided I like Thunder Dragons, so I am going to stick with that. With that said, here is the deck profile. Of course, starting us off, we do have 2 Armed Dragon level 3 and 2 Armed Dragon level 5. Again, I'm only limited to 2 of each, so I decided to max out on those because I really like Armed Dragons. I also have 1 copy of Armed Dragon level 7, which I've got to be 100% honest, you really don't need, because the extra attack is not really that great. The extra ability is usually not that great. Sometimes you can use it, but sometimes you can't. Like, even if you do get to Lightning Vortex the opponent with it, now the deck that you most likely were facing, which is Control, they could just put it face down with Sook and attack over it, whereas they can't do that with Armed Dragon level 5, which it's so annoying that it loses defense when it evolves. If it didn't lose defense, maybe I'd use it more, but basically I only ever use it as discard fodder for Armed Dragon level 5, which you have better discard fodder in the form of Despair for the Dark, which he did use in the anime to discard for Armed Dragon level 5, and as you will probably see in these replays at the end here, he actually gets his effect off a little bit. And there's one duel where, thanks to him, I was able to almost win on turn 1, except that I completely fumbled it and I didn't see that I was going to win. So it was my fault. But anyway, we have 2 Kabakiri level 1 to summon our Armed Dragon level 3s. Really the only other target that's possible for him to run is Spirit of the Breeze. So I did not include that in the main deck, but you could if you really wanted. We have 2 Masked Dragon and Pitch Dark Dragon. Masked Dragon can either summon the Armed Dragon level 3s or Pitch Dark Dragon, because with Pitch Dark Dragon we are running 2 Dark Blades, And he does have an effect to equip himself to Darkblade. And of course, if you're playing Polymerization, you could summon the Darkblade the Dragon Knight. I included Tribe Infecting Virus here as a staple card, of course. And I've got 2 Y Dragon Head, 2 Z Metal Tank, and 2 X Head Cannons. I actually got to summon off the fusions, and while they're not great on their own, they're better than a lot of the other stuff that he can run, so you might as well. I got 1 Giant Tornado, which he played, Graceful Heavy Storm, 1 Level Up, which, to be honest, bricked pretty much every single time I tried to use it, but there's not too many more cards you could use. You could use a second copy of Limited Removal here, because you do have 6 machines versus only 2 monsters that this works with, although it is searchable. And Lightning Vortex, which technically he never actually uses in the anime, but for one, he uses it in the intro of the anime, and also his name's Manjoume Thunder. Of course he's going to have Lightning Vortex. We have the 1 Limited Removal. Again, you could remove Level Up and get 2. It's a horrible strategy. And I have 2 Megamorph, which has been dead most of the time, but I won 2 games thanks to Megamorph. And also I could have won another one, except that I did not pay attention. Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 of that. I will be playing 1 Nobleman Cross out because I don't want to double up on staple cards. Again, you could run 2 if you didn't want to follow these rules, but 1 of each staple I think is enough. Pot of Greed, which every GX character used pretty much. Premature Burial, Reload, which he used. Snatch Steal, to Tribute to the Doomed, which he used. Called Haunted, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, which is both a staple and a card that he used. And Torrential Tribute. Just to round off really quick, some other cards that could be included or could be cited are Chaos Necromancer, which he used in his duel against his brothers, Disc Fighter to get rid of pesky defense position monsters, Giant Rat, which he did use to summon Gyakugire Panda, but again, I personally don't want to use it. Mephist, the Infernal General, comes up a little bit, and I usually side it in against opponents that like big fat hands, and I tried to side it in against Exodia, but it didn't work out. Marin, and again, Spirit Breeze against something like, I don't know, Burn, but I brought in the 3 Ojamas just because they always have to be somewhere when our friend Manjoume Thunder, aka the Chazz, is playing his deck. Whether he wants them or not, they're going to be in there somewhere. And I actually did side them in against 1 person against Exodia, so you'll get to see that in the replays. And then of course Mist Polymerization, which I actually could use against control decks, and Ojama Trio. Just really quick, I'll just swipe over these different fusions. He didn't technically use all of them, but I mean, he could have. And the fusion deck was not limited back then, so there's no reason that he wouldn't have them. So anyway, that is the deck profile, but I will show you guys some replays. There's going to be 1 that's really cool against Exodia. There's another deck that's just kind of interesting, and then 1 that has me actually pull off a win, which was very difficult, to be honest. This deck, as you could tell, it wastes a lot of advantage, but it's still cool, still fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and have a good one.